probably the first game I think we'll look at is Liverpool versus Everton in the Merseyside derby, purely because the amount of action that happened there, and it was a real test for both teams going into this because anything can happen in a Merseyside derby, can't it? But it was the refereeing decisions that really influenced the game. And in particular, obviously, Ashley Young got sent off quite early on in the game in the first half for two really sloppy yellows. It felt like there were two yellow cards that you'd see from a novice player, not from an experienced pro like him. But then obviously the headlines will be taken by the fact that Ibrahima Konaté didn't get the same treatment and the second yellow in the second half when on replay he absolutely should have done. I think Jurgen Klopp almost hinted that he agreed with that as well. Not quite. So yeah, not really a level playing field throughout the game, but I thought Everton held really well firm, I think, against all the adversity they faced. And Liverpool had to really find a way through, didn't they, to win 2-0, and they did. So an interesting game, but a difficult one to judge in many ways, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think the game itself, it wasn't a classic by any means. I thought, especially after Everton went down, obviously it was a penalty for me, quite clearly. Liverpool actually struggled to create a great deal of chances, to be honest, and didn't look at their best by any means. But after that, I thought Everton did quite well, to be honest, in containing sort of that threat, and obviously for large parts of the game being down to 10 men as well. Obviously, Ashley Young, his discipline has cost him a little bit on this occasion, and to be honest, he's received already quite a few yellows this season, I think, as well. So with his experience, he'll obviously be really disappointed in himself, but I just feel as though Everton, I thought they performed quite well, to be honest. I thought that they set up quite well, and Liverpool really found it difficult to break them down. Like you mentioned, the Konaté foul. If it's at Goodison, it probably gets given, and it's the reason it's at Anfield. And obviously the crowd and the atmosphere has a massive impact on referees. I mean, we've seen it happen countless times down the years, not just at Anfield, but obviously especially some of the bigger clubs tend to get a little bit of the rub of the green, but it's just inexcusable, really, isn't it? And it's just so annoying, to be honest, to watch as a fan, because it just has a massive impact.
Well, I think you sometimes have to acknowledge, though. I mean, Liverpool have had some bad luck lately, haven't they, with VAR? So you can kind of understand them feeling like the balance has been redressed slightly in some ways. But I'm kind of siding with Sean Dyche here. They were massively unlucky, Everton. First of all, not to have gone ahead in the first half. They could have scored an opening goal very early on. That would have changed the makeup of the game completely. But yeah, if Konaté gets a red card, that final sort of 20 minutes of the game, or 25 minutes, whatever it was, would have been interesting, because I think it was still 0-0 at the time of that Konaté incident, wasn't it? And obviously Klopp took him off straight away, acknowledging that he was a risk. So he knew. And then obviously two quite late goals. First of all, the penalty, like you say, which was definitely a penalty. But then in the final minutes as well, deep into added time, Salah gets a second too. So Liverpool found a way. And I think one thing that impresses me about Liverpool, to their credit really, is going forwards, they do look very good. I feel like they're one of the better teams at the moment in counter-attacking and in finding a way through teams. And Darwin Núñez, you can see his decision-making has come on so much since last season, because there's so many occasions where he squared the ball to Salah or threaded a through ball to him, where he probably would have gone for goal himself last time out. So Liverpool are improving, and I think they look like a threat now, a threat to the top four, definitely. But beyond that, who knows? What did you make of Liverpool's performance and their potential so far this season?
Oh, clearly, there's been a big improvement on last year. There's definitely seemed to be a bit more stable in their transitions, and don't seem to be as vulnerable at the back as what they were. They definitely seem to sort of stemmed that threat that they were they looked a little bit vulnerable at the back at times, especially against counter-attacking teams who were finding far too much space sort of in them pockets between midfield and defence, and they definitely seem to have improved that area. But yeah, you mentioned in attack, they've just got so much strength and depth in those areas as well. Probably the best attack in the league, really, to be honest, in terms of numbers as well. I mean, you look at other clubs at the top, the likes of, City, Arsenal, got some very good players in attack, but probably in terms of strength and depth, not as much as what Liverpool have got. And there's a lot of variety in there. They're all very different in their own way. Obviously, Jota picks up some really clever positions in and around sort of the penalty area. You always see him amongst the goals. Luis Diaz is just got a lot of variety to his play. Like you mentioned, Darwin Núñez is really improving as well. So they're definitely on the up. It's whether they can obviously keep up this kind of form and take this momentum forward is another thing. And it'll be interesting to see how they perform when they come up against the likes of City and Arsenal. And I think that will tell us a lot about them as a title contender.